ever since elementary school, I've always had this struggle talking to women, and and I feel like none of them have ever liked me. I feel like if any ever did try to talk to me, I feel like that was just, I would say not to, I would not say brush me on, but like to kind of just play with me, like funny, kind of to make fun of me, if that's a better word to use. And I struggled with this all through elementary school and all through middle school and pretty much all through high school. I'd see other guys who were, who were, I wouldn't say they had girlfriends. I mean, I'd say they were much better than me, and they had the opportunity to have a better social life, to hang out. And I feel like, and then this might sound typical to most people, but to me, it's a big struggle. And I'll tell you why, because it led me down a path of addiction that I really wish I would have never started. I'd say that it's like a cigarette. Now I got into the addiction of pornography and masturbation, and I became super heavily addicted, and I still am. Was like masturbating like 30 times a day, and it's really bad. And I don't laugh when I say it, because to me, it's not a laughing matter.
No,
To me,
it's hell, dude. It's hell. It's hell.
It's like a cigarette.
Hey,
And
it's
so,
way worse than a cigarette. It's way worse than a cigarette, man. Okay, you don't have to
yeah,
justify it to me. It's 30 times a day. Like, yeah, you're a full blown addict, man, and that's hell. Yeah. So I'm
yeah,
not laughing at all with you. Okay.
yeah. And so, yeah, thank you, John. And then, so it was, and then what's worse about it is that I feel, I feel lost. I feel angry. I feel lonely. And then my mom didn't allow me to get my driver's license till I was 18, which was this last year. And so when I would see all these people that had a much better, I would say, life, and had no job, I had no, had no car. I really, really felt miserable. Like I felt really, really miserable and depressed. And what's worse, even worse, is that even till now, when I have all the opportunity to pick up more work and to, control my finances and control, I feel like that scar of the last 8 years of my life sticks with me, because it's kind of like I got out of high school and I'm like, I wouldn't say what now, but I'd say more like, like it's just a big ball of confusion. And then
That's right.
dealing with this addiction, it's just, I feel like that's what's made it hard to move out and, not move out, but move on from it and try to get away from it. And this pornography addiction led me down a really, really severe path of insanity, not only in my addiction, but in my mental health and
Mhm.
in the way I view things and the way I spend money. And in the way I've so far, because of my addiction, I've lost over, I'd say about $3,000 in savings that I was supposed to use for adulthood. I spent it on supporting my addiction, supporting my laziness, supporting all of this. And so it just really has not been good. And
Okay.
and I want to be honest with you, John, because you're a doctor and you're a therapist. It led me down very hard. It led me down a path of a different type of pornography that is not who I am. I did that type of pornography to because I was so desperate and felt very alone, and I still do feel very alone till this day. Like it feels like every day is a Good Friday to me, and I tried to go see a therapist, and usually therapists are supposed to help you. But I felt like this guy reasoned more with what I was doing than recognizing that it was a problem and helping me switch. So eventually I stopped going. I mean, he was a nice guy, but I really didn't feel like that was like he was helping much. And I was,
Okay. Okay. Hold on. Stop. 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 Okay. I got the gist of it. Um, are you involved in child pornography?
um, no, it's a if you want, I can tell you which type.
Yeah.
Well, I started with straight pornography, but then I would go on this, video cam website and I would masturbate with other men.
Okay.
Yeah, and that was the type that I was doing, and it goes completely against my values as as a Catholic, as a Christian. It goes completely against my values as a man, as a Christian, as as a person who goes and participates in the Eucharist every week,
Sure.
it feels wrong. But
Okay.
but at
Okay.
the
Okay.
same
Okay. Okay.
time,
Okay.
that's
Okay.
where
Okay.
it
Okay.
gets
Okay. 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 Okay.
yeah.
All right. Do me a huge favor.
Yes.
Take a deeper breath as humanly possible. The biggest breath you can fill in your lungs, and hold it for 5 seconds. A count of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Blow it out as hard as you can. Okay. Now, thank you for being brave and for saying stuff out loud that you've probably never said out loud before.
Never.
What you've just done is hard. Okay. And you're going to feel particularly vulnerable and particularly exposed, as though you were buck naked. You just threw the windows open in front of a huge group of people. Okay. I want you to sit in that discomfort for a second, because you're also going to find that's where the healing starts. Okay.
Yeah.
Right now, your mom ran a pretty tight ship, didn't she?
Yeah.
And you were a trophy, correct?
Correct.
And she shined the trophy up to make sure everybody in her world could see how shiny you were, right?
Correct.
And she protected you from yourself because you weren't to be trusted, right?
Yeah.
I'm sorry that you were set off on that adventure because you were a kid, and you, instead of being taught how to trust yourself and that you were lovely and worth being loved and that what you felt and thought mattered, you were told you're gross, you have issues that only I can solve for you. And suddenly what emerged from that soil that she created for you is a guy that doesn't like himself, and that looks at every other person who interacts with him as, you've created stories and put them in other people's heads and actions, that they are acting towards you in a certain way because they're having fun at your expense. That's how little you think of yourself. Fair?
Correct. I'd say that's true.
Joseph, you don't suck. You're not a loser. Okay?